Welcome to episode 22 of A New Way to Love, Live, and Lead. I'm your host, Cheryne Blom, a master coach, author, speaker, and the founder of the Self-Mastery Hub, your center for self-inquiry, healing, and growth. This podcast is here to remind you that midlife is not a crisis. It is a climax, the best chapter yet. Midlife is a powerful invitation to come home to yourself, break old patterns, and live from truth, not fear. Together, we are going to awaken your inner mastery so you can master your midlife. And this season is a deep dive into self-connection, but not as a concept. It's a way of being. And today's episode is where we bring it all together. Here's the truth most of us miss. Self-connection isn't something you achieve once. It's something you practice daily. You don't lose yourself overnight. You drift away through busyness, through stress, through putting everyone else first, through living on autopilot. This is why coming home to yourself isn't a one-time moment. It's built through habits of connection. In my book, The Courage to Be You, I describe self-connection as a pathway, not a personality trait, not a mindset hack. It's a pathway that moves us from disconnection to calm, to clarity, to confident courage. And today I want to walk you through that pathway and show you how to live it every single day. Because last episode we spoke about self-leadership. And I emphasized in that episode that the key to self-leadership is self-regulation. And today, understanding these habits of connection are really going to drive that home. Because I've learned personally through the hard way that my habits of connection help me not only self-lead, they help me avoid burning out. The minute life gets busy and I break my routine, my overwhelm and frenzy returns. And I've learned that instead of falling in a heap, I can now use my habits of connection as a self-care practice to come back to myself and to ensure that I am self-leading in the most empowered, centered, and calm way. So before we talk about habits of connection, we need to name the thing we're healing: disconnection. And disconnection looks like living in your head, disconnected from your body, again on that autopilot mode, being constantly reactive, overwhelmed, or anxious, making decisions from fear, self-approval, or control, feeling busy but unfulfilled, feeling guilty when you do take a rest, knowing what you should do but not trusting yourself to do it. Those are all signs that you are coming from a disconnected state. And disconnection isn't a failure. It's a survival response. When we're stress triggered or emotionally flooded, the nervous system shifts into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And in that state, we lose access to our calm, our clarity, and our truth, which is why self-connection must be practiced, not assumed. So in chapter 17 of my book, I describe the pathway to the essence, to living in our authentic nature, is made up of 4 sequential states: connection, calm, clarity, and confident courage. Those don't happen randomly. They build on one another. So let's walk through them. Let's first look at connection, returning back to yourself. Connection is the foundation. It's everything that we have been talking about in this season. And I define connection in 3 ways. I'm going to define it a little bit deeper in today's episode. First, we're talking about connection to self. That's what I've been discussing in the last few episodes. This is your ability to tune into your thoughts, feelings, body sensations, inner truth. It's awareness without judgment. And then the next layer is about connection to a higher source. Whether you call this intuition, your soul, God, higher self, spirit, or life force, this is remembering that you are supported by something greater than your fear. And the third way is connection between the mind and the heart. When the mind and heart are disconnected, we live in conflict. We experience anxiety. When they work together, we live in alignment. The mind provides logic and direction. The heart provides wisdom and truth. I love the saying that my mentor taught me, and I mentioned it a few episodes ago, where we teach the heart to think and the mind to feel. And so our habits of connection at this stage can look like daily check-ins. What am I feeling right now? Body awareness, breath work, meditation, time in nature, honest self-reflection. Those are the steps that we have already looked at. And if we go deeper and understand self-care is not indulgence. Self-care is the art of self-connection. And so let's go into step 2, which was about staying calm and regulating your nervous system. Once you reconnect, something powerful happens. Your body begins to feel safe again. Calm is not the absence of emotion, it's the ability to regulate your emotion. And when we are connected, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural relaxation response, which is our rest and digest mode. This is the opposite to our survival state. This is where the breath slows down, the thoughts settle, the reactivity softens. Without calm, clarity is impossible. So habits of increasing calm include conscious breathing, pausing before responding, grounding practices, reducing stimulation, even thinking about lighting and creating a darker environment for yourself just to soothe the mind and the eyes, creating space instead of pushing through, resting without guilt. Calm is the bridge between survival and self-leadership. And from there, we move into clarity, where we can see through the fear. When calm returns, clarity follows. Clarity allows us to see situations without that distorted lens of fear. It allows us to respond instead of react. It allows us to step back and see what may be happening in another person, so have greater compassion. It allows us to access discernment instead of drama and separate the truth from the fear. When we have clarity, we are seeing through that lens of love. It is our soul, our essence aligned with the ego that helps us see the truth. This is where we stop taking things personally, where we stop attaching to the stories, where we stop living from emotional chaos. Clarity is the state where the mind and heart work in harmony. And habits of clarity include journaling, reflective questioning, truth-telling with yourself, creating space for insight, and choosing curiosity over judgment. Clarity gives us back our sense of agency. And when we are connected and calm and we have clarity, we can step into confident courage, which is us living our truth. This is the natural outcome of connection calm, and clarity. Confident courage is authentic self-expression. It's not ego. It's not force. It's not proving. It's speaking your truth, setting boundaries, making aligned decisions, getting out of your comfort zone, living from integrity, and choosing love over fear. Courage here doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you trust yourself enough to act anyway. Habits of confident courage include honest communication, aligned action that is out of your comfort zone, boundaries rooted in self-respect, and choosing what feels true to you over what feels safe. This is where self-connection becomes visible in your life. And this is when we step into self-mastery. So if we bring them all together, connection leads to calm. Calm creates clarity, and clarity fuels confident courage. And this is why habits of connection matter. Because without daily practices, we don't stay connected. We drift. And when we drift, fear takes the lead. So here is your self-connection practice of the week. Find a quiet moment. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and take 3 slow breaths. And then ask yourself, what do I need right now to feel more connected to myself? Take a pause and listen. Listen without fixing. That question alone is the first habit of connection. And here's your self-connection question for this week. Where in my life am I disconnected from myself? And what is one small habit I could introduce to come back into connection today? Don't overthink it. Connection doesn't require a complete life overhaul. It starts with one conscious choice. Now, I have something special for you today to add to this. If you check in the show notes connected to this episode, I have my self-care plan ebook for you. It's my special gift for you today that it's going to help you set up your habits of connection and really strategize and plan and take your self-care practice really seriously. And you're going to learn the 4 pillars of self-care. You're going to learn how to set realistic goals. You're going to learn how to make self-care a habit and use practical tools and tips to integrate self-care into your daily routine without feeling overwhelmed. And you're going to have a space to reflect and adjust. So be sure to check the show notes for this episode and be sure to grab that ebook. I will also put a link to my book for those who don't have a copy yet. And I'd love to leave you today with this thought. Self-connection isn't a destination. It's a daily devotion. And the more you practice these habits, the more natural alignment becomes. You don't have to push your way into courage. You connect in your own way there. Please remember to follow and like this episode. I'd love to hear your comments here on how you are building your habits of connection. What's the habit of connection that works best for you? Please share that in the comments below. And as always, please share this episode with someone who you know is ready to step up and awaken their inner mastery. Thank you for joining me on a new way to love, live, and lead. And remember, you're not too late. You're right on time. And your best, most connected chapter begins right now.